You guys remember that silhouette we saw in Naruto Shippuden episode 462? We saw Momoshiki, we saw Kinshiki, but there was one more Otsutsuki clan member there. Well, now we have a name, we know who it is. It is Urashiki Otsutsuki. I'll say it again for you guys. Urashiki Otsutsuki. Now, long story short, back during 2015 when Boruto Naruto The Movie came out, we only had the introduction of two Otsutsuki clan members, Momoshiki and Kinshiki. Kinshiki ended up getting absorbed by Momoshiki, but those were the two villains that had Kaguya all shook up, that had Sasuke doing all of that research. Those were the two that were harvesting that planet and eventually came to Earth. Right? So why didn't we see this additional Otsutsuki clan member, Urashiki, in the movie back during 2015? Well, basically because of time constraints. They cut out a lot of footage from the actual movie to try and make it all fit together. And it's really a shame because he was supposed to be there, a part of that story. He was a part of Kishimoto's vision, and the fact that he got cut out makes it come off a little bit less genuine, but he's going to be in the anime version of this movie as it gets adapted, and it really makes me wonder why. Seemingly there's something important about his return, otherwise they would not have brought him back, because if they cut him out of the movie, which was a large budget project, they should have just accepted the fact that they took a different turn and just fully scrapped him as a whole. But he's coming back, and he's coming back for a reason. Now, because they cut a lot of stuff out and we don't really know much about this guy, I'm hoping they actually go the extra mile and give us some kind of Otsutsuki origin story, or at least a solid background story on this specific guy, and maybe even emphasize the role of Momoshiki and Kinshiki even greater. We know that those two got a character design change in the manga, but that's not enough. A lot of people weren't happy with those two because of the way they went out to Boruto. Yes, he got the help of Naruto and Sasuke, but still, like, a Rasengan from Boruto should not have been the end of these gods, specifically this one god who absorbed another god. If they want to make the anime version superior to the movie version, I say scrap all of that. Scrap Boruto actually being vital in the defeat of those two, even though that's like him redeeming himself or cheating in the Chunin exams. It's not worth doing that to a character who's that young, who needs to take down like Chunin and Jonin level threats before encountering shinobi that could wipe out in an onslaught of S-rank shinobi. We're talking about straight up gods with godly chakra. And because this guy was absent from the movie, they could have him play as big of a role as possible. In fact, they could make him the most powerful Otsutsuki clan member to date. It was Kaguya Otsutsuki who was number one in my books because of the fact that, you know, the Sage of the Six Paths had to give the power to Naruto and Sasuke, and they couldn't even beat her conventionally. They had to seal her up. But what got her really scared? It was Momoshiki and Kinshiki's inevitable arrival to harvest the planet she was harvesting. But those two, Momoshiki and Kinshiki, were sort of a letdown in a way, and I still consider Kaguya stronger than them, right? However, introducing Urashiki, all of that could end up changing. He might even have the power to, for instance, manipulate time. Do something like what we saw Momoshiki do after he was defeated by Boruto in the manga. You could have Urashiki play that large role, and you could have it all fit together because it wasn't Momoshiki and Kinshiki alone that Kaguya was scared of, it was Urashiki. Urashiki together with those two, and maybe even him making up a majority of the power between those three is what really scared Kaguya. That would be sweet, especially because those two are more set in stone for me. Yes, they had the ability to absorb all various types of chakra, ninjutsu, things of that nature, and basically use space-time. They could fly around, they possess the Byakugan, and they possess the Rinnegan, by the way. However, despite all of these broken abilities they were given, in the end they did not utilize them in a proficient way, and that resulted in them kind of just sucking. But if Urashiki has that kind of power, but maybe he's smarter, more strategic, he could be the Otsutsuki clan member we've been waiting for all along. Now, this could just be me getting my hopes up, and, you know, that this guy might end up sucking, and the only reason they're bringing him here is just to make it a little bit more exciting, and it's still gonna feel like Kaguya Otsutsuki's stronger than those three. That's entirely possible as well. But if he's being brought back, I have faith in Kishimoto because he is supervising the Boruto anime. Now, just to give you guys some food for thought, this is another way they could make Urashiki very interesting. So we know we did not see Boruto use his dojutsu, the Jugan, in Boruto Naruto the movie. There was no trace of it whatsoever, and come to find out, they actually forgot to give Boruto the Byakugan. This was before the Boruto anime came out. Now, in the promotional poster where we see Urashiki for the first time, it almost looks like Momoshiki and Kinshiki have the Jugan or Boruto's dojutsu, but I'm gonna assume that's more of like a coloring issue, and that's actually the Byakugan. Now, Urashiki could very well have this dojutsu, and here's why I say this. Number one, it's all connected back to the Otsutsuki clan. That's first and foremost. Yes, Boruto's dojutsu is a derivative of the Byakugan, Rinnegan, and all of the other dojutsus that followed as a result of basically procreation with human beings. Now, here's the thing. Boruto has a lot of different blood, a lot of different chakra flowing through his veins, so it's hard to point to where exactly the dojutsu that Boruto has, what was the main trigger behind him manifesting it. It's hard to say, but we know it's all connected back to the Otsutsuki clan, so Urashiki could very well have this eye. Now, that's the first reason. It all goes back to this alien-like clan. But the second reason is pure logic. If he has it in the anime, and Urashiki is being introduced for the first time in the anime, and we know that every single time that Boruto's eye has been triggered in the anime, it's been because of some kind of dangerous presence, we might see Boruto trigger this eye again in this fight, and it would be like the first time he really triggered it for real. We might see the power activated like never before because of Urashiki, and he might have this dojutsu, and he might be able to tell Boruto exactly what it does, or at the very least showcase what it does, so we viewers can get hype for what Boruto will eventually achieve in the future once this power grows on him. And in a way, this would be a parallel to what we saw with Momoshiki in the manga and Boruto, and how he basically gave him this curse mark, this diamond curse mark on his palm that seemingly is going to expand and expand and expand. And when Boruto encounters Kawaki as an older teen, we see that power really taking over. Well, we know that Boruto is going to have some sort of control over this dojutsu in the future, so you could have Momoshiki on one hand being responsible for the curse mark, but when it comes to the dojutsu, that, by the way, he did not have in the 2015 movie, and Urashiki didn't appear, Urashiki could be responsible for the development of the dojutsu in the anime version of Boruto Naruto the movie. Now, this is simply speculation, but it's also very weird, the timing and the fact that they bring back a character that was cut out. Like, why would you even have to bring back this dude if you cut him out? Clearly, he wasn't important then. But remember how they forgot to give Boruto the Byakugan? It could be the same thing right here. They're going to take advantage of this opportunity and really flesh out the Jugan with this brand new Otsutsuki clan member. Another thing that gets me feeling that Urashiki is going to be playing some kind of role in Boruto's Jugan development, maybe to a more advanced stage, is the fact that they're using Toneri Otsutsuki from Naruto the Last, the guy with the Tenseigan who could bring the moon into the earth. He's basically stalking Boruto, and they're constantly pushing him in the Boruto anime as this, like, fortune teller. There's this coming danger. The Jugan's arrival was still unavoidable, and soon the gods will land on Earth. Those were Toneri's words. He also noted that Boruto's right eye is the key to stopping a great darkness. Now, what did Momoshiki tell Boruto? Once he defeats a god, he stops being a normal human and he gets the curse mark as a result of that. We get all these mixed messages, but if Boruto's eye, which didn't appear in the original Boruto Naruto the movie, this eye that's seemingly tied to the Jugan's arrival and Boruto's going to stop this coming danger, something's telling me that because they're adding this new Otsutsuki clan member, once he defeats him, Urashiki's going to do something to Boruto, or something's going to change in Boruto. It's going to be like a mirror situation with what happened when Momoshiki basically triggered the curse mark in Boruto. To be honest with you guys, I'm really liking his character design. We know he at the very least has a Byakugan. I think he has the Jugan or Boruto's dojutsu. He could even have the Rinnegan like Momoshiki, but I think that's overdoing it just a little bit. Like, I wouldn't want him to have the ability to absorb chakra. I would rather have him have the ability to, like, manipulate time or, you know, something unique. Now, we know he has this whip made out of chakra thread. That's his, like, you know, main physical weapon. So I'm guessing he's just going to be trying to, like, whip everybody on the battlefield as they're going to try and, like, sock him from long range. let's see how that works. And he also has a gourd of chakra on his back, sort of like Gaara, but a little bit different. Now, I'm wondering if that's emphasizing his chakra reserves, or if that's basically telling us, like, the reason he has that gourd is because he does not have as much chakra, like, for instance, Momoshiki and Kinshiki, because one of the reasons why Gaara carried that gourd on his back is so that he had sand to use when there wasn't much sand around. So I'm hoping it's just there to emphasize the fact that he has excess reserves of it. I mean, guys, he looks really sick. He looks absolutely evil and sinister. He's taller than Momoshiki and Kinshiki, and he looks a lot more serious, and that might be a big thing in battle when, you know, he has the same kind of powers as Momoshiki and Kinshiki, but he has some strategy. He could actually utilize the powers how they're supposed to be used, and that would make him a more serious, respected threat that could have Kaguya all shook up to build a White Zetsu army, because from all the material I've gotten with all the Otsutsuki clan members, Momoshiki and Kinshiki did not feel like a major threat to Kaguya, and that's just me being honest with you. Don't let him be a letdown personality-wise, like Onetti with his obsession for some pussy because he was a virgin, or just Kaguya Otsutsuki, who was extremely insecure and lonely, and it feels like the only human contact she had were with her sons that ended up sealing her into the moon, which was really sad. Have this dude Urashiki not give a f***. That would be the best personality type. Give him a solid backstory. Again, they cut out a lot of footage due to time restraints, so they could give us an entire origin story on the Otsutsuki clan. Have him actually display his abilities, that whip, that gourd, the Jugon. That would be really sick. And are you guys just excited to see more Otsutsuki clan members? I certainly am, but with, you know, a great deal of hype like this, there's a great deal of responsibility, and I hope they execute this correctly. With Kishimoto involved, with the character design, with the story, with this remake, I'm pretty confident, but at the same time, if they cut him out the first time, it feels like there is that chance. The only reason they're throwing him in now is to make this arc bearable, because we are tired of fillers and rehashes, and I think the studios know the fact that, listen, we already saw Boruto Naruto The Movie in 2015, we really don't want to see this again. We could just go and watch the movie, so that's why they're introducing this new character, to make things a bit more hype. Leave your thoughts